Good afternoon, Detroit. Good afternoon. You in tune to Ron March and Beverly D. simulcast. We do every Wednesday. The day's date is April Fool's Day, April the 1st. And there's nothing to be playing games about on April Fool's Day because we've been fooled and tricked ever since we have entered into the agreement. Notice how I say that. We're playing football now, the game football. Your creator will be the center. Now, the center hikes the football. The quarterback will be your mother. She's getting ready to have you. She's getting ready to have you in the hospital. Okay.
I'm listening, Ron. I'm back.
All right. So if God is the center and your mother is the football, no. If God is the center and your mother is the quarterback, the baby would be the wide receiver. But when mama throws the football, all the goods that they need to be successful, the state where you are intercepts the football and takes all of your worldly goods. Wallet. Takes all of your worldly goods. Now, you can't call them a theft because it was never received by the baby. So now let's go back and read it again. We're talking about expilatio. In the civil law, the offense of unlawfully appropriating goods or the football belonging to a succession in the line of successors, which would be mama, baby, that type of thing. It is not technically theft because the property or the football no longer belongs to the decedent, the baby, nor the baby's heirs, since neither has yet taken possession of the football. Got it? So, now we're in the mama. We're going to put the mama in the recovery room. Now we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty. And I want everybody or anybody to call me and ask me questions in regard to this scenario or this process. Let me turn Beverly on. Look like she's back.
Yeah.
I'm going to use you to go through this, Bev, because it's not complicated to me because you know how I do. But I want to make sure you understand what we're talking about.
I have no idea. I heard about the baby and the ball and the wide receiver, and I'm lost.
All right, let's start again. We're looking at a word called expilatio. EXPILATION. TION. TIO. Palatio. All right. It's a civil term, so you know it goes with corporations.
Okay.
And it says, the offense of unlawfully appropriating goods, in other words, taking some goods belonging to a successor, belonging to someone else. It is not technically a theft because such property or goods no longer belongs to the decedent. The decedent means a dead person, nor to the heirs, since the latter has not yet taken possession. Now, does that make sense? Because the Queen of England back in 1666 declared all of her subjects, all of her domain, everybody in her domain, she declared them dead. Dead. So that
now, who gave her the right to declare everybody dead?
She had a big army. She had conquered the world.
She had the big stick.
The known world. She had the big stick.
Okay.
Yes. And then she had the Pope's blessing. You dig it?
Okay. Now Wait, I don't want to interrupt you, but could you spell that word one more time so I can look it up?
Oh, yeah. EXPILATIO.
ATIO. Okay, gotcha. All right.
Yeah. And I pronounced it expilatio. Expilatio.
Okay.
May not be right, but that's the best I can do. Now, I tried to give a scenario of this expilatio by talking about a football game. Okay? Now, the football itself is all the wealth, everything you need on earth to be successful. That's the football. Once you start the game, your creator or your God will be the center. That's the guy in the middle of the line that hikes the ball to the quarterback. Are you following me?
I got you.
The quarterback is your mother. So God hikes the football to your mother. Your mother is the quarterback who fades back and throws a pass to the baby so the baby can have all the wealth and all the goods it needs to be successful. But while the ball is in air going to the baby, the state that you live in intercepts it. So it cuts the baby off. Do you get it?
Yeah, it's a snatch and grab.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. Now I got some more stuff that will make you madder than that. But anyway, now that successor that we talked about, or succession, is spelled SUCCESSION. Succession. And it means the coming of one person or thing after another in order, something that comes in order or sequence or in the course of events. So your mama having a baby in labor, the course of events is to have the baby come out. And the mama having all the blessings of her creator, who has given her all the knowledge and wisdom to give to the child, she attempts to hand it to the child, but the state comes in and takes it. And you can't call the state a crook because the football that belonged to the baby, he never received it. So if your father sent you a bicycle for Christmas and somebody stole the bicycle, you can't say that the baby had the bicycle or there was a theft, but because the baby never received the bicycle. She can't even file charges that it was stolen unless she can figure out how they took it between daddy sending the bicycle and the baby receiving it for a present. Does that make sense? Or are you following me?
I follow you. So they stealing all the time. I don't care what you call it. They stealing.
Yes.
Okay.
They're stealing all the time.
Okay.
Now, here's where y'all gonna get mad at me. Every state in the union has a, what can I call it? A law, a statute. It's called Funding Child. FOUNDLING. Funding Child. CHILD. Funding Child. Now, the one in Michigan is not as clear, but I'm going to read Michigan's first, and then I'm going to go to Ohio and read what Ohio say, where you can get a better understanding. Now, the one in Michigan is called 333.2825. 333.2825. And here's what it says. Assuming custody of a live-born child of unknown parentage, form, contents, and filing of report, place of birth, report as birth, registration, sealing and opening of report. Now, Section 2825 says this, number one. A person who assumes custody of a live-born child of unknown parentage shall report on a form and in a manner prescribed by the state registrar the following information. A, the date and place of finding the child. B, the sex and approximate birth date of the child. C, the name and address of the person or institution with whom the child is placed for care. D, the name given to the child by the custody of the child. E, other data required by state registrar. Okay. Now, that is what the mother signed when they're in the birth of what they call it, the recovery room.
Oh, Lord.
Pain. Don't get mad. In pain and all kinds of sweat, whatever, y'all done it, I don't know.
Right.
And here comes that nurse bugging the hell out of you. And once you sign the application, you create this entire exploitatio and throw the child to the wolves, and they can't get their just due because the, what do they call it? The Social account has a 7-year wait period that if nobody comes to get the child, or better yet, I wouldn't say get the child, nobody comes to prove the child is alive, it automatically goes to the state.
But I'm sitting here reading the definition of what you're telling us, the fundling child, and it's saying that the child has been abandoned. So
yes.
That gives them the right to come and take the child because we signed those papers, and we signed them abandon the child. So they have the right to come and intercept and take the child. That's what you're saying this year. Oh, my God.
Yes. And you don't know you signed it, so you are complying with the law. Now, let me read Ohio's law, which is a little clearer than that one. Now, listen to Ohio. Whoever finds a living infant of unknown parentage shall immediately report such finding to the local registrar of vitals of the registration district in which the child is found on a prescribed form which shall state date of finding, place of finding, sex of the child, race of the child, approximate age of the child, name and address of the person or institution with whom the child has been placed for care. So your mama is getting a child to go home because she signed the form to give the baby away, and then the form says the hospital and the doctor or the registrar register of a birth certificate says we'll let you care for the child. Mama don't even know it. She thinks she's signing for the doctor's bills, the hospital bills, the insurance people to get paid, getting her child a birth certificate, and she's throwing that baby right into bondage. All legally, because she signed her name.
Her signature.
Yes. The person, superintendent, or manager of the institution with whom a fundling child is placed for care shall give such child a name within 10 days and shall promptly report the name given to the local register of the registration district in which the child was found. The founding report, which is an application. I'm going to call it an application because we don't know what it is. But you definitely signed it. And I'm reading Ohio's law. The foundling report shall constitute the birth certificate for such foundling child, and sections 3705.01 and 3705.29 of the revised code relating to birth certificates of record shall apply in the same manner and with the same effect of such report. If a foundling, I can't even pronounce that word, foundling. If a foundling child is later identified and an original birth record is found or obtained, the foundling report shall cease to be a public record. Such foundling report shall be placed in an envelope which shall be sealed by the department and shall not be opened to inspection or copy unless so ordered by the court of competent jurisdiction. Wow, that's that live birth record.
Right.
All copies of the founding report in possession of the local register or the probate court, as well as any and all index reference thereto, shall be destroyed. Wait
a minute. They gonna destroy what?
And I'm not clear to give you a good answer on that. But once you get your birth certificate back, and you become a private citizen, all of the information that they have must be destroyed because you no longer are a minor. Number one, you're over 18. Number two, and you're a straw man. Your straw man ceased to be in control of them. So they're supposed to destroy all of that information that they created at your birth.
The birth certificate.
Yes. So we're really talking about you know about, and I know everybody gonna jump on me, but I just learned this. You know about the county birth certificate. You know about the state birth certificate.
Right.
There's also a live birth record, and that's what this is set up through. I believe the live birth record is the original setup to do all things, meaning the county birth certificate and the state birth certificate all come from the information that was given by the mama on the live birth record.
But don't that
once
say
the
that
child becomes alive? Go ahead.
Don't it say that on the birth certificate, live birth record?
I don't have it on any of mine that I have processed. See, when you say that, you may be in charge of your live birth record. I don't know. But I'm out of Indiana. I was born in Indiana, so neither one of mine says live birth record.
Okay.
Now, the only one that's signed by the registrar is my state birth. My state was stamped by the registrar. I'm working on what to do with the county. I'm trying to get into that. I don't know. And I'm not going to worry about it because I'm going to go ahead and perfect myself. I want everybody to stop. Don't start calling me about it. But I thought this information would be vital to the mothers out there. But we can't jump into 10 and 15 battles at one time. So I'm directing everyone to go to my website and go at the top where it says blog and then go down to the information about birth certificate. And then there's another good article on straw man and their treasury. And remember, there are about 6 videos that you can look at that's in that second article about the straw man and the Treasury Department. So there would be no need to call me. If you're going to be sovereign, you got to figure this stuff out for yourself. Because one thing that I have learned, a lot of things that I do has worked And some things I do not work. Now, those that don't work, I don't give up. I study and come back at them in another way. But now, all of you, I'm going to call you fly-by-nights because that's what you are. All of you fly-by-nights is getting this information for the last 6 months. Never heard of it before. You think you're going to go out there and file paperwork and everything's going to start clicking for you. It may, but 9 times out of 10 it may not, because you must be tried. You must be tried. What does it mean to be tried? Just like every round, if you're a boxer, if I come out every round and keep throwing that right hook and busting you upside your head, I'm going to keep on throwing it till I knock your butt out. But if you can figure out how to stop me from throwing it or counter me with a punch, I'll stop trying to throw that right hook. This is the same thing with your freedom. Some people can get freedom, click, click, click. Well, I did it. It worked for me. Good. I did the same thing. It didn't work for me. Now, what are you going to do about that? All I can tell you is try again. Does that make sense, man? Just like you. Just like what happened to you.
Right.
You went out there to get your birth certificate, and they ran you crazy, charged you all kind of money, told you all kind of crap that did and did not work, and you just went bonkers until you said, well, let me just stop and start again and do it another way.
Right.
Once you did it a new way or a different way, everything began to fall in line.
Right.
You could have easily given up way back and cussed Ron March out and everybody else out that stuff don't work.
That's what they want. That's the game plan.
That's the game plan.
That's why they do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now,
so wait a minute, Ron. This is I mean, you always coming up with stuff. I be like, Ron cannot surprise me no more. Now you telling me that when I had my babies and I signed that paper, I abandoned my babies.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And that
they
gave
have to have a law to do what they're doing to us. Go ahead.
And that gave the state the right to come and do everything that they've been doing because they say I abandoned my baby. They're going to let me take care of the baby. And they're going to have me to spend my money, but I abandoned the baby. They're not even giving me no money to help raise the baby that I abandoned.
Nope.
Oh, my God.
Nope. And they're going to take the birth certificate, since you don't know any better, and put money on it and make it a negotiable instrument, and they're going to create an investment. Because, see, the SESAQ account, I'm getting ready to get into that now. The SESAQ account is it's an investment account. It's a trust. And when they work the trust from the baby, from you signing the baby out, all the way to 18, when they work that trust for 18 years, it becomes super rich. It becomes at least 85 to 95 million credit units. There ain't no money, so let's just call the dollar credit units. You got $85 million credit units, and the trust, United States Treasury has control of that. They start wars. They run governments out of business. They invested in oil wells all over the world. They steal. They do all kind of stuff with your money. And when the money's paid back with interest, they have to put that money back in your account. So now, at your age, and well, like I say, I'm 73 years old. I got hip when I was about 65, and I did all types of things hoping that I was freeing myself, but I never did. But now I believe I'm on the right path to free myself and at least make me a private citizen. Not a citizen, a private indigenous one. Because if you're a citizen, you still belong to the government. And I don't, and I ain't a part of it.
Yeah. Now, Ron, from 18 to, you say you 73. So that money, has that been collected interest, or what do they do? Once you turn 18, they still make money off of that, right?
They don't stop flipping it. They keep making money all the way off of it.
Okay.
And until you come alive. Now, you remember what I told you about the Queen. When the Queen signed that proclamation to create these Sesquiu Vi accounts. So you can look up Sesquiu Vi account 1666 and then put in chapter 11, chapter 18, chapter 19, and then chapter 2, and put 2 in parentheses. Did you get that?
Yeah, chapter 11, 18, 19. Go ahead.
Yes. This is when they give you, and all of this is coming out of 1600, what happens to your investments? What happens to your properties? So I'll read one. And this Sesquiu account is an act for redress of inconveniences by want of proof of the deceased, of persons beyond the sea or absenting themselves, upon whose lives a state do depend. So what this really saying is, this act takes everything away from you, declare you dead, and wait for you to come back alive and ask for your stuff back. And by law, a Sesquiu account 1666, they have to give you everything they took from you and your heirs all the way back to you when you come to this in this land. That's why they wanted to separate us and create so-called Indians and then tell us we came from Africa. You dig it? That was one of the reasons that they fought for that, so that we didn't go all the way back. Now, let me stop. I'm going to announce that next Tuesday and Wednesday there will be a guest on. I'll deal with him on them. There's 2 of them, male and female, on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, you and I will get them together. Okay. What we're going to do, they represent a organization called Paleo Americans. Now, Paleo means old, O-L-D, and then Americas. Now, they are saying that we were here 10, 20, 30,000 years before the European was even created.
Oh,
they
yeah.
have proof. They've done research. It's called the PaleoAmerican.com. That's where you can go to get information.
Okay.
And they're going to be in Detroit because they're launching a campaign that they want to get 10,000 signatures per city, way I understand it. And they want to have ship it to Obama and have Obama recognize and do some things. I don't know what that's all about, but So yesterday, now I do know and have some knowledge of copper people, C-O-P-P-E-R, copper people. In my show yesterday, I attempted to explore the copper people, and I'm telling you, I was shocked at what I had, because they're talking about Saginaw, Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, Toronto, and all the way down to Kansas. There is a MCR, which is called Mid-Continental Rift, where the copper is so rich that it's laying on top of the earth in some of these places. Now, Michigan has the largest copper deposits on earth. Now, I say to you, man, how are they going to file bankruptcy on the city of Detroit and the state has the largest copper deposits on earth? What the hell is going on here? And nobody knew it. I didn't know it. Did you know it?
No, but I see a pattern here. I mean, just the same thing that they did with the football, with the baby, with the interception, with the snatch and grab. This is how they operate.
Yes. Now you got it. Man. I thought that football thing, a guy ran that on me, and they cleared my head right up.
Yes.
Because they're going to snatch it before you get it, so you can't cry foul.
Right.
Especially since you don't know what they did. None of you mothers out there and potential mothers, none of you had any idea you was throwing your child into an abandonment child. You didn't have any idea. And technically, you could go to jail for abandoning your child if they wanted to do that. Am I right?
Yeah.
Because, you hear about mothers, and you used to hear about putting the baby in a box and sitting on the church steps and all that kind of stuff, run and find the mom and give her some time in prison for abandoning the child.
Right.
So all of that seems to be a big joke, Wow. Well, let me run this on you from this chapter 11. Let me go back and see if what's going on in the chat room. Are we getting any information? We got nobody's asking for any. Let me see what's up here. Oh, man. I have a problem strolling down with my telephone calls, Bev.
What you talking about? You talking about in your studio?
Yes. I don't have a button to make it go up and down.
It was there.
That's why I couldn't get you.
Let me see.
Yeah, I do. I see it now. I think it's black. All right.
Yeah.
I go to the top. We do have a caller.
Okay.
So let me see what. I can't see it. Yes, caller. Last four numbers 9763. Do you have a question or a comment?
No, sir. I'm just listening in. It's very interesting. I heard a lot of what you said a couple of weeks ago, and I was in the process of trying to actually go to the state of Florida and get my. I already have a corporate birth certificate. Now they have another name for the. I assume it's the living birth certificate or the county birth certificate. I forgot what they call it, but they don't call it that. They call it a photocopy instead of a computer copy. They call it a photocopy. So I'm in the process of doing that because I'm in a situation where I don't know how long I'm going to be on the planet because I got sick. So I'm trying to do this for my boys. My boys are 7. Yeah, I'm trying to do this for my babies. It ain't about me. I'm trying to do this for them, and I got sick. You know what I'm saying? So,
all right, listen. Since they are underage, whatever you do, they automatically get it until they turn 18. So I'm not saying don't worry about the boy. You get yourself in line, and then you can make them your dependents, which frees them right off the bat. Now you can teach them what to do when they get 18, as the Jews do. You dig it?
Okay.
That's what they call that bar mitzvah. All right. But email me and keep me posted on that Florida situation. Ron March Show, SHOW.
Ron March Show. And another thing about Florida, I don't mean to cut you off, brother. Another thing about Florida is Florida is deep up underwater, man. They're not waking up to what you have. You have a lot of people woke, I guess you would say. Then you have a lot of people trying to figure this thing out. And you have a lot of COINTELPRO groups coming in with the little beating on the drums and all that, trying to keep people head off of what time it is. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's like, the Creator, the ancestors led me away from Florida for a minute. I had to go to another territory so I can get my my learn on, and I got sick. I had what I'm saying, I got sick, but I'm coming back. Hopefully the good Creator keep me here. The Creator got me off that table to do this, I believe, because I didn't know what I was doing. So I'm gonna try my best to just study what I can and listen how I can listen and learn much as I can.
All right, Ron March Show at yahoo.com.
Ron March Show at yahoo.com. Yes, sir. All right, good brother.
Right, good enough. I appreciate
you.
Yep.
All right, appreciate y'all too.
Appreciate you. Stay well.
Yep. Okay. Now, Bev, I want to go back and do some more exploring in this Siskiyou account, chapter 11, 18, and 19. Okay. Now, recital that Siskiyou Vies, Bies, have gone beyond sea beyond C, and that the revisioners cannot find out whether they are alive or dead. Now, I don't know who these revisioners are, other than some blind corporations that ain't looking for you anyway. But you could say it would be your ancestors or your mother and father who should have the knowledge of what we're talking about, so that they can make you come alive when you turn 18. Or, like I told that brother, you will be alive at 7 years, because the mama can free you if she's free. Does that make sense? You understand that?
The mama can free, but if the mama don't know, if she not,
that's why it says the revisioners, and I'm going to call the mamas revisioners.
Okay.
You know, if the revisioners cannot find out whether they are alive or dead, so I'm saying, and I'm just talking like you now. In other words, the baby's dead. It did not catch the pass because the state took it. Mama gave up the baby on that funneling child package. So we got two idiots, mama and the baby, that don't know nothing. So as they grow in life, if they never learn anything, the system is happy with them. But if mama turns out to learn, she must put that knowledge in the child, or first she must free herself and become a private citizen like yourself. And then you can put it in your children. If they're under 18, you can make them free as a person. But if they're over 18, you got to show them and do what you did.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Now, whereas Lords of Manor, I have no idea where that is, and others have granted estates by lease for one or more life or lives, or else for years determinable upon one or more life or lives, and it has often happened that such person or persons for which life or lives such estates have been granted have gone beyond the sea, or so absent themselves for many years that the leaseor and revisioners cannot find out whether such person or persons are alive or dead, by reason whereof such leaseor or revisionor, I know this sounds crazy, have been held out of possession of their tenements for many years. Like me, I've been held out of my tenements for many years, after all the lives upon which such a state depend are dead. So all of my people are dead. And everything I had coming, I should have had the knowledge to give it to them, or to knock that interceptor, knock that punk out of the way so the babies can catch the pass. I'm going back to that little thing. You remember?
Yeah.
Action for recovery of these tenements have been put upon it to prove the death of their tenants, when it is almost impossible for them to discover the same, for remedy of which mischief so frequently happens to such leaseors or revisioners. Siskiyou remaining beyond sea for 7 years together, and no proof of their lives, judge in action to direct a verdict as though Siskiyou were dead. So they will pronounce you deader than a doornail. Now,
wow, they make you abandon your child, and then they say you dead.
Yes, and the child is dead.
And the child is dead.
Because nobody came to get him within 7 years. And a guy told me the count starts when the doctor slaps that baby in the ass. His timetable starts. He's got 7 years from that smack on the butt to declare who he is, and he don't know. Now, if the mama was a private citizen, I would think she could declare her child to be alive and go through the process of making that child alive and making him a private citizen. But if she don't do it and the child don't do it, nothing can happen at all until they're 18. And if they don't go and file their papers on their own at 18, the state is happy as a fat rat. They don't give a damn about nothing, because they're going to make it clear not to let the knowledge out. Because you mothers never knew that y'all was giving them babies away when y'all signed that crap. So now you may be too sick to deal with it, but I'm sure all the mothers in the earshot of this program are going to at least say, come back tomorrow when I can read that shit, or get the hell out of here. I'm not signing the damn thing. You dig it?
Right.
Now that's going to be very important how them crooks, handle that.
Well, what about the mothers? What about if the mothers don't even go there and do it like they used to do and have the midwives?
That was against the law. Did the Peckerwood say it's against the law for them midwives? All the midwives left the country. Didn't they run them out?
Oh, I didn't know it was against the law.
Well, I don't have babies, but I do know at one time there was a midwife on two of them on my street.
Mm-hmm.
That was back in the late 80s. One of them was a nun, and I don't know what happened to her, but the other one was a private citizen, but she had her credentials as a midwife, and she left and went to St. Thomas. She lives in St. Thomas now.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe she's doing it down there. I don't know. But I'm sure that those midwives are not putting this paperwork on them to sign so that they give that child away. But remember, if they don't get you in the hospital,
get you in school.
Get you when the child. Yes, I just get ready to say that. When they get ready to go to school, just like Granny used to have all the knowledge in the Black Bible. And all of this we talking about did not exist. They didn't have it in place. So they had to get rid of Granny so that they could get rid of the Bible, give her the big white one. Now the baby don't have any credentials to say they belong to the United States. Until they went to school and they burned the Bible, now they say you got to go get a permit. Now, think about that. You're going to go get the permit, and I'm not saying you're going to sign anything, but they can disguise it, and you can sign all kind of stuff to get the child to get in school, especially if you're not aware. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now the men got in big trouble in the late 40s because what's his name? Franklin Delano Roosevelt set up that CC camp. I don't know if you know about the CC camp. And the CC camp was hiring all males that were unemployed. But in order to be employee of the CC camp, number one, you had to give up them Islamic names. You had to come in as Fred Johnson or John Smith. And number two, you had to have a Social Security card. So they was registering all them black cats in the late 40s and early 50s who were not citizens of the United States because they hadn't signed in. They came out of the South, and Granny had the Bible, so they didn't belong to this bull crap that we're talking about now. But once the system got rid of Big Mama and burned Big Mama's Bible, they had a complete reign of drawing in everybody and making them sign here and sign there and all that crap. And they are very opposed to Islam. And I'm going back to the 50s. Because most people didn't even know about Islam until Elijah Muhammad. And it only happened because the living conditions were so bad that everybody was listening to the messenger. So it was all good. And they go in these big cities, Philadelphia, Detroit, Chicago, and they was raising membership. There was people joining left and right. That's why they try and make sure they keep all of the societies happy. So they need to create these jackleg-ass preachers talking about going to heaven and all that left-handed malarkey. And then they'll bring in the Magic Johnsons and a bunch of them bums talk about how sweet it is and how rich they are, so that the people can believe they can grow up and be successful. You dig it?
Right.
It's enough to just want to make you puke. Especially when you talk to an idiot that can't see all of this. I want my child to grow up and be a basketball player. But there's only 250 professional basketball players that's in the league. And you got over 225,000 colleges. How this punk going to get in there? He better be a Magic Johnson or Michael Jordan to even get looked at. You know what I mean?
Yes. Wow, this is unbelievable.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right, now I got another section of that SISQ.
Okay.
It says, if the supposed dead man proved to be alive, and then the title is Revisited, Action for Mean Profits with Interest. Did you get that?
Say that again.
Supposed dead man, I'll say dead person, proved to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they done declared everybody dead and took all their stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you got a Ron March that can declare himself alive and have the knowledge to do it, and then they must come and revisit my title. In other words, who am I?
Mm-hmm.
Am I the majority or the minority? Action for means profits with interest.
With interest.
Somebody owe me some money. Yes.
From 18 on, or from when the doctor smacked you on the butt?
When Big Mama burned the Bible, my family tree, I can go all the way back. Because the same thing that happened to me happened to my daddy, and it happened to my granddaddy.
Okay.
So there's 3 generations right there, or 4. Now they're going to try to stop me when I get to my granddaddy, because now you're back there with them mulattoes and them so-called Indians, and now they're going to start throwing the book at you that Indians are not allowed because we do a different way with Indians and all that shit. So you got to understand and study what they really did. And it's surprising that they keep talking about Indians when I got the book, the legal, I should have brought it tonight, the legal law guide of the Barron Law Book, that said there's no such thing as Indians. They made that word up. So you could have to ask yourself, why are these professors and these so-called revisionaries, why are they still talking about Indians? And we're going to bring that up next week when we get to this guy, because he's saying that the only copper people on earth has to be us. It surely ain't the European. But they're going to try and squeeze that engine in there, right, and say that the engine was the copper people.
Yeah, because I see an article where they talking about the Palo Indians. Yeah. And there's a difference between the Palo Americans and the Palo Indians. The Palo Americans look like us. The Palo Indians look like the Indians, the so-called Indians.
Yep. Well, I don't know what to say about it. That's going to be somebody else's battle.
Okay.
The guy next week, we need to read, and you need to read more of that Paleo Indian and American, so we can ask him about that, see what he says.
Okay.
But I'm looking forward to it because I do not like to be called, quote unquote, a Moor. Now, you can call me Ouachita Moor, but don't call me a Moor. Because to me, Moor is a label by the European to lump up everybody from Islam.
Mm-hmm.
You dig it?
Right.
Or to lump everybody from the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
You got to ask the question, who told Eisenhower to take the court in 1956, take the Islamic, or better yet, the Moorish Empire's court and put it over in the Middle East? How did he do that? Who told him he could do that? And so once he did that, we were under the mercy of United States of America. Do you see that?
Yeah.
We don't have the court. And every time we go in their court, we either get fined or we do time. Either get fined or we do time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. So do you have any? Yeah. You got to cool off a little bit. Do you?
Yeah.
Do you have anybody with a question? It's time to take a break. I got one phone call here.
Okay, take your phone call. I don't have any questions.
All right. Caller 9763, last four.
Hey, brother Ron, this is me. Yes, sir. No, I have something to say. I forgot this. I was so surprised I got on the talk show. I was like, it caught me off guard. I forgot to say this. People have to remember the power of an affidavit, unless it can be rebutted fact for fact. And I forgot the term. It's a term in law that has to do with blood. And through my researching and talking to people, they always try to go off and not trying to talk about blood and blood type. And when you find out a lot of our people don't even know their blood types. They don't know to ask these questions, or they don't know how important that is. See, when you're dealing with a species of mankind that's not even in your category. See, we got to remember we are the periodical table and the periodical table that we don't see. So the thing is, we got to keep studying, but we have to always remember whether we get this done or not, Mayot will be reestablished. Balance will be reestablished. The Republic will come back, whether we want it to come back or not. It's going to come back. You see what I'm saying? So one thing I found out when I signed a lot of these contracts, and one contract that I signed, it was I was trying to get a house. I was doing the Section 8 thing, and I was real lost about it because I was real discouraged. And I'm like, man, look, I'm tired of this. It ain't gonna work. These crackers done won. I was saying it in my head. But the thing that once the ancestors told me, whether they think they won or not. Okay, a good book people might want to get is I remember you said I heard you say don't call me more without putting you said Washita. What did you say, sir? I forgot, brother. You said don't put
Washita more.
Yeah, I got a good book. Yes, sir. I got a good book here by brother Dr. R.A. Umar Shabazz Bey. It's called We Are the Washita, and it's the indigenous Moors. Spelled M-U-R.
I have the DVD. Yes.
Yes, sir. I have the DVD. And what people have to understand, like a lot of these documents that they're getting us to sign, when you reserve your rights on these documents, they can't get paid off these documents. So it's like, and the reason I learned that is because I put reserve my rights on one of the documents, and the lady said, "Well, I can't use this." I'm like, I said, I can't use it.
Right.
So that opened my eyes to stuff too.
Yeah, I've already done a complete show on that. Reserve your rights, and by law, you have a right. You have a right to reserve them. You should ask to see her if you really want to make a battle out of it. You should ask to see her supervisor or ask her what law is she quoting you that you cannot reserve your rights. All right.
Okay. Right. I understand exactly what you're saying. And and I got another book called Moorish and Moorish Treaties, and it's got the treaties in here that can also help you fight fight this enemy that's sucking everybody dry, man. So, y'all keep up the good work, and I'm gonna keep listening, man. God bless y'all.
All right, buddy.
Thank you for the information.
Yes, sir.
Yep. It's not there now. It's definitely not kicking like it was.
Yeah.
All right. All I'm trying to read now. This language is ass backwards, if you ask me, because it's in English. It's in English, and it's not comfortable to read. And I'm not the best reader in the world, not trying to be, because I want everybody to go get it themselves. But what it talks about in this section is you can come back and repossess your lands, your estates, and your properties. And that's what's going to happen once we complete our process, Beverly, that you're in. I've already completed it. I'm getting ready to go to the next phase, and that is the affidavit. And I wanted to piggyback off of the brother that called when he mentioned affidavits. You have to put an affidavit in place. And when you put it in place, you have to notify all persons concerned that your status has changed.
Now, when you say all person, I mean, what are they talking about? Who do you have to notify?
Well, let's start with the Secretary of State of Michigan.
Oh.
You. Let's start with that. That's number one. Now you would want to go to, if you're doing a lot of driving, you might want to go to the the Attorney General and the Secretary of State. And then if you may want to send it, and that means a copy of your affidavit along with the paperwork that declares you a private citizen, which is your birth certificate. Send them copies.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to name a few that I would think of doing, which I'm going to do. That would be the Attorney General of Michigan, the Secretary of State of Michigan, the Colonel or whoever that chump is in charge of the state police, the Chief of Police of Detroit, the Wayne County Sheriff Department, and maybe the presiding judges of 36th District and Murphy Hall of Justice.
Okay.
I would send all of them a copy.
Hmm.
Now, after you do that, you would want to establish. Now, when you do that, they're not going to answer you. So now you need to study what is known as administrative remedies. Administrative remedy. And when you read up on administrative remedies, you're really talking about 3 letters: the notice, the opportunity to cure, and the default and dishonor. All 3 letters. And you must give them ample time between each letter to answer. So the first one, which is the notice, when you're going to lay out all of your situations, you should give them 30 days to answer.
Okay.
If you don't get an answer in 30 days, you will write a new letter. Now, we're only talking about a page and a half at the most. You don't need a lot of song and dance. So, a page and a half at the most. So, the second letter should be less than a page and a half, because all you're going to do there is send them another copy of the original, plus a reminder that you're going to give them 15 days to answer now. Since I gave you 30, I'm going to give you 15 more to answer. So that's 45 total. If you don't get an answer in 45 days, your next letter is going to be called the Notice of Default and Dishonor. You have now become default because you did not answer the first 2 letters, and we're going to give you an extra 5 days to answer this one. Well, you're really talking 30, 45, and 5 is 50 days. Now, if they don't answer you got a package now. You can go to any court. I would presume the state level court, which would be 33rd Circuit, and you can file a letter and get a summons and complaint because they did not answer your letter, and now they are in default. Did you get that, Bev?
Yeah. I'm looking here, and I see different administrative remedies. They got a mortgage one, a prisoner one.
But the remedies are, the process is the same. The remedies are different.
Okay.
All process, the basic process is 3 letters. And you got to remember that. The notice, the obtacure, and the default. Now, in that letter, your last paragraph should be your, what they call in legal word, whereas, which means your ultimatum. I'm going to give you 30 days to answer this letter. It's got to be in there. When you are giving notice, you must cover all the bases. So let's take, for example, your birth certificate. And now you're going to deal with, I don't want to go with that word. Let's go with foreclosure. Somebody took your property. So now you're going to pick out who took it. So I know you're going to take 36th District. You're going to take a law firm, and you're going to take the mortgage company that engineered it. So let's just say Bank of America, Trot and 36th District Court. All 3 of those will get letters from you. So they'll each get 3 letters, all certified. In that letter, you're going to bring up all the federal laws and violations they did, because you're no longer a citizen, so you don't want to start using foreclosure, the process of foreclosure. You don't really worry about that. You want to go to the state constitution that says that you have seized your property and no one should take it without just compensation. Use that, which is, I can't tell you offhand, but I think it's, I'll be guessing. I thought it was Article 1, Section 19, I believe. I'm putting mine together now, but I'm trying to work with other people to make sure I don't leave out anything. Then you can also use the Clearfield Doctrine. That's another statute at large, which states anytime you go after a corporation, they must, because of compensation, they must answer as a human person. In other words, when I send that letter to Bank of America, I'm going to sue the corporation, but I'm going to specifically sue the chairman of a CEO in his private capacity. When I go after Trot and Trot, I'm going to sue the corporation of Trot and Trot, but I'm going after the P number of the attorney that executed that trash. When I go after 36th District, I'm going after the court, and then I'm going to get the judge who agreed with Trot and Trot to do what they did to you. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Now that's just the remedy, but it's different. I'm talking mortgages now.
Okay.
So let's do another one. Let's talk about a garnishment. You paid for the car when you signed your name. So why did they come and take it for non-payment? So you're going to sue the Ford Credit, who you had it financed through, and you're going to look for the chairman of Ford Credit and get him. Then you're going to go after the tow company that took your car, and the owner. The tow company by corporation, owner by private capacity. And then you're going to sue the attorneys who engineered the whole thing.
Gotcha.
That's an automobile. That's a different remedy.
Okay.
Now, the ladies, y'all can really get your heads right and file paperwork on what they did to you in the hospital, because no one told you you were giving your child up. So that's fraud. What they did to you was fraud.
And then they've been collecting money on my abandoned children.
Yes. And declared you a not an absentee mom, but you just as bad. You you gave the child up.
Right.
So there's you can sit back and just let your mind do the walking, and you could come up with a lot of stuff that can be used to deal with this thing. Okay. And they know it. That's why you'll probably never get to court, because they will settle. They don't want to go to court because they don't want to set up an established, what they call an established precedent that they made a mistake. You dig it?
Mm-hmm.
So they'll probably try and plea bargain with you. Now I'm going to tell you now, don't get all fancy Dan thinking you're going to get $10 million or 10-minute credit points on one issue. You got to give them an opportunity, because if you start acting crazy, the judge is going to say you're trying to destroy that company. And since the company was definitely in their right to do what they did, because at that time you were a public citizen. See, a lot of people don't seem to understand that.
So you were really a slave at that time.
Yes. So ain't no sense you talking about, well, you're going to give me $10 million because you done did it. No. And the judge is going to throw it out and will win in any appeal, because you are an idiot. You're trying to destroy the system, and that ain't what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
I would think you have enough money to go forward, because once you get control of your straw man, you are a millionaire right off the bat. So why are you trying to go back and hurt somebody that was doing what was right at the time?
Gotcha.
I hope everybody gets that. Because as long as you are a public citizen, they can do whatever they want to do with you. You could almost thank Martin Luther King for that. Once he signed you up as a 14th Amendment citizen, that meant that the corporation had you by the old Jajewski Kukuskis, and they could do anything they wanted, all of that mess. Now, if they put you in prison, you may not get compensated for the time, but at least they'll have to clean up your record and dismiss all charges. And you may be able to get something for it, but I doubt it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It'll tell you, Now, there's another step that comes after the injunction. After the affidavit. It's called an injunction.
Okay.
And I'm going to do more. I'm going to do way more with that. But tonight, I'm just going to mention it and have you do research on it. It's called preventive injunction. There's about 6 different types of injunction, but I'm talking about preventive injunction. It's an injunction directing an individual to refrain from doing an act is prevent, prohibit, prohibitor, or negate. This type of injunction prevents a threatened injury, preserves the status quo. That's important. You got to preserve the status quo, or restrain the continued commission of an ongoing wrong, but it cannot be used to redress a consummated wrong or to undo that which has already been done. Now, that means that once you file a preventive injunction, you almost have diplomatic immunity.
Hmm.
And since, this is going to really rock you, since you cannot mix water and oil, corporations are water and a private citizen is oil.
Okay.
They don't mix. So whatever the water did to you, you cannot be file charges for them to redress what they did to you, but you can file an injunction and make them stop the day you get the injunction.
All righty. The injunction puts a hold, makes them stop them dead in their tracks.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, I'll give you an example. There's all kinds of talk, all kinds of laws and rules that you don't need. Now, this is really going to blow your mind. You don't need insurance. You don't need car insurance. You don't need registration. You don't need plates. All you got to do is put in the Google right to travel. This ain't Ron March. This is the Supreme Court of the United States have ruled. You have a right to travel. The Articles of Confederation that they talk about, which was a treaty that the United States made with the Moors, a treaty. In Article 4, it says you have a right to regress and aggress without being prohibited, without being tampered with. So when they tell you that you have an automobile and in order to drive it from point A to point B, you need license, you need insurance, and you need a plate, those are prohibitors. It says you don't need nothing. What the hell are you telling me about all this bull crap for? That is one law that you will have to deal with. Now, you can do it anyway. But I advise you, you better do it with a sound, polite mind, because you could get your brains blown out if you're going to get out there and start running your mouth. Everybody's not ready, and I'll say it 1,000 times. I want everybody to hear this. Everybody's not ready to be free.
Right. Yeah.
Everyone is not ready to be free, and it's not for me to determine who is and who isn't. But I guarantee you, the system will let you know who is or who isn't.
Right.
Because they have an army and a police force. You don't have nothing. So you better mind your P's and Q's once you become a private citizen. I want everybody to know that. You have more rights than you are entitled to if you're an idiot. Follow me?
I got you. Now, when you become a private citizen, and I know that this system do not do things like they're supposed to, can they kick you out of the land since you're not on their plantation?
I'll ask you one question. Where are they going to send you?
They don't care. They just tell you, know how a person tell you to get out.
No, Bev, no. Anytime someone's kicked out of the land, they are what they call deported, and they're deported back to their motherland. This is why they want you to say you come from Africa.
Right.
Okay? With all the crimes that black people have committed, if there was some way to have a place to send us, don't you think we'd have been there 20 years, 30 years, 40 years ago?
Well, no, they don't want us to go nowhere as long as we are citizens because they're studying making money off of us. If you killing babies, come on, Beth. If you killing babies, shooting peckerwoods, and doing all those heinous crimes, you mean to tell me that they are don't want you to get the hell out of here? Come on now. I didn't say everybody because they I'm not saying everybody. I said heinous crimes. Same way they do peckerwoods. When they start doing certain things, they deport them back to their country. They kick them out. Get out of here.
Now, you don't have anywhere to go because you're in your land.
Yeah.
So, again, where are they going to send you? You don't speak Mexican. You don't speak Greek. Come on. You don't speak none of them languages in Africa. How they going to send you to Africa? Africans probably kill you when you get off the boat coming over here with all that Christian shit. You follow me?
I follow you.
So they cannot send you nowhere because you're in your land. Because if there was somewhere to go, I think I'd have packed up and been gone. And why not? Why not? If they give me X number of dollars so I can go to Ghana and buy me some land and set me up and then get my checks and over there and all that kind of stuff, I think I'd leave as soon as I can.
Now, someone in the chat room is saying that that's what they did to this rapper Mo Def. He left this country, and they won't let him back in.
Yes, but we don't know that to be true the way that person's saying that. I know about that situation.
Okay.
But I understand that he gave up too many rights. When I say too many, he gave up, I was told exactly what he did, which you should not do, and I'm not sure what that was. I may do some research on it, but I am aware of it.
Okay.
But I say this, he could go to the world court and sue and get back. I don't know his situation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we all know that he was put out of the... No. We all know he's not here. You dig? So the rumor that they put out could be anything. I have no idea.
Okay.
And I'm not denying it. That's just like when they put Wesley Snipes in jail.
Right.
Everybody says he went to jail for tax evasion. And I can show you where you can never go to court to jail for tax evasion, because tax evasion is not an illegal offense, number one. Number two, there are no lockup laws for taxes. You cannot go to jail for not paying taxes. Period. I know everybody going to look at me like I'm crazy. You can go to jail for perjury. They'll trick you and make you, and then they'll throw the headlines, you're in there because of tax evasion.
Okay.
Now, if they really wanted to scare black people, they would have sent or shown at least a picture of Wesley Snipes either going into prison or coming out of prison. Don't you think they'd have had something going on that?
Yeah.
To let everybody know that you better pay your taxes or else. That picture would be worth $10 million just to put it on the front page of the Wall Street Journal and scare the crap out of everybody. Why didn't they do that? Especially when he begged that he'll pay 3 times what he owes, and they wouldn't let him do it. That's what I was told. He went on one of them shows and said that they tell me I owe $3 million. I'll give you $9 million to leave me alone. I heard that. Now this is all hearsay.
Okay.
Now they're still going to have to prove it. I would not doubt that he went to jail, but I will doubt that he went to jail for tax evasion. You can't go to jail for tax evasion. That's why they have to use tobacco, firearms, and alcohol to do certain things, because they use that to scare you. And if you don't pay your taxes, they're going to put you in jail. But you can't do that because Title 26 that they use does not have lockup laws. They don't have laws to lock you up.
Mm-hmm.
But when you sign those documents, and all you got to do is look at them. It says, I signed this document under the penalty of perjury. And if you are fooling around, they can get you.
Okay.
And I understand that the people that were doing the taxes for black stars, they busted them first. And then they made deals if they would tell on other people. And when they went to this brother, he said no when he should have said yes. The last thing you ever want to do is lie to a federal agent. I don't care what he is, FBI, CIA, IRS, it don't matter. If you lie, they got you for perjury. You don't want to do that.
Oh, and that's where they lock you up at.
Yes.
So can you use the, what is that when they say I use the fifth?
Oh, yeah, you can do that all day. Oh, yes. But see, they created the laws, so they are geniuses on setting up traps and to do certain things to get you. You know, I do not want to be in that predicament, period, zero, zilch. You dig? But if I have to go, I got to go with what I know. I'm not going in there trying to make deals and signing papers and stuff to get a lesser charge and all that, you know, stuff like that. That's where you start getting in trouble. You know.
Okay.
All right. Anything else or question?
No, I don't have any phone calls. If you want to call and ask Ron a question or have a comment, you could call 347-215-8041. Push the number 1, and you can ask Ron a question or make a comment.
All right. Now, I wanted to announce that I have an e-book on my website, and I'm going to it right now. And it's Whites. It's a book on white people were in slavery in the United States before Europeans. I mean, before black people. It's a 74-page book that deals with slavery. The name of the book is They Were White and They Were Slaves. I want a donation of $12, and I'll send you 74 pages on the internet. 74 pages. Now, I put if you go to my website, go to the top and go to stores, and then go down and tap the icons. It'll open up. Now, I just tapped the front page, and they're showing you a European in chains on the docks coming in from England. And then the introduction, I put the introduction in here that says they were of two sorts. First, such as were brought over by masters of ships to be sold as servants, such as we well call them my dear, says she. But they are more properly called slaves. That's from a book by Daniel Defoe of Molly Vanders. Next paragraph. This is a history of white people that has never been told in any coherent form, largely because most modern historians have, for reasons of political or psychological, refused to recognize white slaves in early America as just that. Today, not a tear is shed for the suffering of millions of our own enslaved forefathers. 200 years of white slavery in America. Listen to that year. 200 years of white slavery in America have been almost completely obliterated from the collective memory of American people. Who wants to be reminded that half, perhaps as many as a third, of the original American colonists came here not of their own will, free will, but kidnapped, shanghaied, impressed, duped, beguiled, and yes, in chains. We trend to gloss over it. We prefer to forget the whole sorry chapter. This is a good book.
All
and
right.
it will broaden your concept. It will broaden your concept as to who you are, because all of the practice of slavery as we know it was taught in white-on-white slavery. That's why Lincoln freed the slaves, because they were still using white boys and ladies as slaves and children. And you can read it all in this book. And they have references to back it up. It ain't some fly-by-night piece of crap that somebody made up. There are references and places where you can go and look up and find the answer, or at least look at what they've done.
Okay. We have a caller.
All right.
We have a caller. Area code 713-367. Wait, I'm in the store. Hold on one second. Hello?
I'm sorry. I'm in the store and the intercom came on. Hi,
Okay.
Beth and Brother Ron.
Well, hello there.
This is
Yes,
Sister
ma'am.
Shira.
Hi,
Great.
Shira.
Yeah, I was trying to hear about your ebook. I didn't hear how we can purchase the ebook. So I want to know that, and then I have a question after you tell us about the ebook.
All right. Go to my webpage.
Which is what?
And go to ronmarch.com.
Okay.
And then go to shop. Go across the top until you see shop.
Okay.
And when you open up shop, it goes to the ebook. And there are two icons. So tap the icons and you can get the picture of the slave. Tap the second icon and you can get the introduction, which is very interesting because the book blows it. The book really, really blows it out. And you can purchase it right online through the donation button. It's a $12 donation.
Okay. I'm going to go home and get it.
All right.
I'm going to go home and get it because I've been saying I was going to donate to you. So I'll do that. And I just have another question. You know, because I heard you and Sister Bell when you were talking about the hospitals and the children and how we surrendered the children, which was very intriguing. But you know what I've been thinking about, Brother Ron, and I want you to tell me, what do you think about this? I know it's something very difficult, but I've just been pondering over this. The way that we've been miseducated here, is it possible for us to sue the Department of Education?
Well, once you become a private citizen, you can do anything you want. So the answer to me, once you become a private, you cannot sue as a slave. That's number one. So you have to be a private citizen in order to sue.
Can you hear? Can you hear him?
Hello?
We hear you. Can you hear us?
We can hear you. I don't think she can hear us.
No.
Well, I will call her or text her and give her that answer. But I'll tell the audience why we're here that you have to be an indigenous person, and I'm using that as a private individual. A Ouachita Moor, a Olmec Moor, that makes you private. And you got to do it through your birth certificate to get away from the all caps. Now, once you get away, you can look back in the system and see what the foul play is. And now you can make a decision. If you want to sue the Board of Education, you can, but you can't do it to destroy the Board of Education. You can't do it to go against the status quo. Because everybody that goes to, you got to remember this, everyone that goes to public schools volunteered to go. So there's really no crime there. Now, if you have a record where they came to your house and drug your child out of there or put the parent in jail for not sending the child to public school, now you got a case. Big, big case. See, they don't do that to Europeans, because the Europeans got their private schools set up right out there in their communities. Most of the schools you see out there are private schools. They're high schools, but they're private. They're not in the system of sports like the inner city schools. They got all these different football teams and all of that, and some of the close suburbs have football, basketball teams to play. Most of those suburbs that are out there, they have their own private schools, private systems, private sports. All of that's private. So you, as a public citizen, really don't have a complaint because you send your child to school because you say, well, if I don't, they're going to put me in jail. Well, you got to stand for something. If you care about your child, let them put you in jail. Then you can fight a good fight. You know what I mean? Is that what
yes, it is. And we have another caller. Area code 612-214. Area code 612. Area code 612.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Right.
Wait a minute. Let's see. Can you hear us?
I heard something.
I did too. Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
I hear you. I just have my phone on mute. I always keep it on mute until I'm talking, so I don't make sure that there's no disturbance. So there is a law called the compulsory education law. That's the law of the land. And, yes, they will come and get you and put you in jail for not sending your children to school by age 6, unless you are homeschooling them and have been on record for homeschooling them. So, and even after children are in school, if they miss too many days, what they're doing now is sending them through the court system. The parents go through the court system. So that's what's happening.
I have one answer to you for that. You're talking about 14th Amendment citizens, not only black, you have white 14th Amendment citizens. And yes, they can do that. But if you challenge it from a private perspective, I guarantee you they will not put you in jail.
Okay, that's fair.
Yep.
That I don't
because
know
they
about.
have a right, all I'm saying. Okay, I'm not challenging what you're saying, and I can agree with you. But I'm saying they do that to the public citizens who are 14th Amendment citizens. But if you're not, you have a strong argument. But now they may want you to educate. You don't really have to educate your child. Why would you want to, even when they say, well, you homeschool? Oh, yeah? What about that lady out of Chicago who was homeschooling? Marva, what was that lady's name? Had that homeschool.
Marva Collins?
What was her name? Yes. Yes. She was teaching her third, fourth grade kids speaking 3 languages. And they came in and shut her down because she was still in the public domain and the students were citizens of the United States. If she had known what I know today, she could have told them to get the hell off her porch. Don't even come in here. But all the children had to be of private parents. You dig it? Hello?
Hello, I'm here. Okay, I guess they gone. Yeah. Okay, so they shut her down because the children were not private.
And I'm sure she was not private either. Because we wasn't as aware then as we are now.
Right.
I don't know her credentials.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I saw, and especially when the Civil Rights All-Stars got involved, they would never get involved with a private citizen because they are public. You dig? So that's a key to me that she was public also.
Okay.
You know? Now, when Elijah Muhammad's wife opened up the school over on Linwood, they came and shut her down, and I wouldn't say she put them out, but they never did shut her down.
Mm-hmm.
So they knew something that we didn't know then. But I'm looking at it now because, see, I am sure those heavyweights back in the day, Elijah, Malcolm, even today, Louis Farrakhan, they are aware of all this heavy knowledge that you and I are struggling trying to put together. They know about this.
Yeah.
You know, but they have either sworn not to tell it or signed contracts to live better or made deals of some kind to keep, the status quo. You know, I was reading where Muhammad Ali was a Mason. Good God. I don't want to start throwing rocks, but tell me something. What the hell is that about?
Well, he was a Muslim too, right? Was that before he was a Muslim or after?
No, after.
Okay.
But see, what you don't know about the Masonic order, once you know there's 33 degrees,
mm-hmm.
and what you don't know is when they get around 26 degrees, they are sworn never to pick up the Bible again. They have to go to Islam.
Okay.
That's why when you look at most of those fezzes, they got Islamic language on the fez.
Okay.
They're not Christians.
Mm.
You can even look at the Peckerwoods. The Peckerwoods got that Masonic order. They got Islam, Morocco. They got most of them got that big Morocco on their fezzes.
Right.
Nobody talks about that. But when they're in the lower orders, from whatever, they are Christians. They have to abide by the Christian laws and all that stuff. But once they get in a certain level, they tell them, lay that book down and never touch it again, because you're going into a higher order of learning.
Right.
Now, why would they do that? And all of you out there that got parents, daddies, uncles, grandpas that are Masons, look at their fez and tell me why they got Morocco on the fez and they got emblems of Islam all over their fez. Why they got that? What the hell is that about? And they go to church every Sunday talking to Jesus.
Right. Right.
Got a problem. Yes.
Well, we don't have any more questions, Ron.
All right. Well, I got my chat room is full, so at least they're listening. And I got a lot of phone calls they're listening. And next week, I'm going to talk to you more about it, and I'm going to send you the website of these people we're going to have on. And I would like for you to be either with me on Tuesday or at least listen in a little bit on Tuesday.
Okay.
And so you can get a feel, so we can blow it all out come Wednesday.
Okay. Will do.
All right. They'll be in town next week.
Okay.
And they want to do a show, and they're going to start their program right here in Detroit. So let's deal with it. I can deal.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
All
I can't wait. And so, and I'll be listening Tuesday, and we'll be on the air Wednesday, and we'll do this.
All right. All right, Bev.
Thank you, Ron. Okay.
All right.
Appreciate you.
The next week.
Okay.
All right.
Peace
and love.